Okay, hello everyone. As promised, I'm gonna do a quick video here for scanning for volume dry ups and pocket pivots. Obviously, I don't scan that way, but I know some of you wanted and asked for my volume pocket pivot indicator to be updated to work with TradingView Pine Screener. I think it's a screener that they made publicly available just in the last few days. That allows you to screen based off of indicators, custom indicators that folks on the platform created. So I made the update. I'll publish the indicator here soon. I updated the version to the version 6 from version 5 and enabled some of these options that allow you to scan. So I'm going to walk through what you need to do to get that working in your own TradingView. I think you need to have a Premier subscription with TradingView to even be able to use this, the Pine Screener they call it. So just dig around, figure out what you need. Just going to show you here quickly how the indicator now works. So the first thing that you want to do, disclaimer before we get started, no financial advice. Do your own due diligence on the tickers we talk about today. I'm going to show some examples. First thing you want to do is you want to come and make sure that you have the pocket pivot indicator, the latest one, on your chart. You do that by just deleting the one that you have on and then just adding the new one. I'm assuming you guys know how to add indicators in TradingView, so I'm not going to do that. And then the same thing that you want to do is flag that indicator and make it one of your favorites. You have to make it a favorite before it will show up on the Pine Screener. So the easiest way to do that, it's on your chart, you right click, and then mine says remove this indicator from favorite because it's already favorite. But if I do that and then add it back, add this indicator to favorite. So now the indicator is in your favorites, and you should be able to see it in the drop down in the Pine Screener and go from there. So do this step first before you go any further. Now, the third thing that you want to do is head on over to Pine Screener, and that's the URL. I'll put it in the description, but it's essentially the TradingView Pine Screener, and then you're there. You cannot scan for the entire market. It doesn't work that way. You have to scan in a watch list that you have created. So what I did, I exported my RS scan from Market Surge. You can do that from IBD Digital. I did a video on how you just do a simple scan for RS, and I just essentially a little bit of volume, a little bit of price criteria. You have to keep the scan list under 1,000 symbols. Your watch list is gonna have more than 1,000 symbols in them for Pine Screener, so you want to keep it under 1,000. So that came up to 948 with some volume filter, some price minimum filter, and then RS 80 or over. That gives me 948 stocks. So now that you have your list, when you come to Pine Screener, you pick that from your list, and then you pick the indicator that you favorite, which in this case is the volume pocket indicator. Once this loads, then it'll take just a couple seconds here to render the options that are available for you to scan with. Now, there's two things here that you want to watch for. You see how there's a lot more up on the top here versus the columns. So you got the volume, you got your volume. This is just the volume of the stock. Because what the stock screener is doing, it's going against the indicator, and it's the columns are your plots. So anything that is plotted on that indicator shows up as a column. So we plot the volume here, obviously, so that shows as a column. We plot the volume average, which is the line, so that shows as a column. And then I plot the volume dry up, which is the dots here. So if you see these dots, right? So that's plotting the volume dry up. So that's why you see this on the column. And then the projected volume is something that If I go to monthly, for example, because week is done and then the day is gone, but if you go to the monthly and then you zoom in, you see this light shaded color here. That is the volume indicator, the projected volume for the month if the pace of the volume remains the same for the rest of January. It's not helpful, obviously, for scanning. I mean, you can figure out but it's a plot. I can't remove it, so it will show up here. Okay. Now, there's two things that you can do to scan. I'll start with the volume dry up here. This is actually potentially a nice scan. You can scan for volume dry ups. So what you want to do is when this loads, you just simply click on scan, and what it does, it goes through the entire 948 tickers in your watch list, and then it populates all this data for you. Okay, so for the scanning for volume dry up, you don't need to do anything here. Just leave this the way it is. So let me run the scan, and then you'll see what I'm talking about. So there's no numbers here, but there's numbers in here. This is just the volume in millions or thousands, whatever that volume is. And this is the average volume. The 50-day average volume is the default. The volume dry up, if you look at my indicator, I only print them when there is volume dry up, right? So if you have the volume number here, that means you have volume dry up. So the way you can do this now is just sort. So you sort it from the highest to the lowest, and that gives you all the volume dry up. So all the way down here is all the stocks that had volume dry up. And what you can do with that is essentially just right-click on it and then bring it to your watch list. So you can do like this, right-click on those, and then bring it to the watch list, and then you can put it in the watch list that you want the scan to go to. So in this case, I'm just doing temp weekly scan. Okay, so I didn't select all of them, so let's just add them there. Temp weekly scan. There you go. Now they're all in here. So now if I go back, I already have this watch list loaded. So now you have all of these temp watch loaded scan. And they're obviously sorted by the highest volume to the lowest volume, because that's kind of what we did here, right? So highest volume to the lowest volume, but still highest volume, but however, it is a dry up compared to that stock itself. So let's go, just gonna scroll through a couple of these. You see volume dry up right here, right? So if I zoom in, there's the blue for volume dry up. And then if we go to this symbol, volume dry up. HEMS, volume dry up, right? Wells Fargo, volume dry up. You can change your volume dry up criteria. So just like any indicator right here, right now, it's set to -45 and -60% of your 50-day moving average. This is the first level of dry up. This is the second level of dry up. The indicator is just going to catch your first level, because as soon as you have a dry up 45% or more from that 50-day moving average, then it will print that volume in your scan here, right? So if you want to loosen this up and you want to have lesser strict criteria on dry up, maybe you want, if anything, less than 35% of the moving average, volume moving average, then you want to catch it, right? So changing it on the indicator here doesn't help, but if you visually wants to see it on the indicator, then you can change that to 35, right? And then you can keep that stringent 1 to 60. And now, so that visually shows that to you. So now if you go back and do the indicator, you just simply want to, let's see here. Yep, so you want to go to the setting on the indicator and then change that to 35, okay? And now anything with dry up volume of 35 or more, then it will show up. But if you want to make it more stringent and you want to only see really extreme dry ups, and that's why I have 2 here, you want to do 60%, then you want to increase this to the minimum that you want to see, because the lowest number is the one that's going to get hit first. So that would be 60. So if I only want to see 60% and above, let's just say 70% dry up, right? Just change both of these to 70, which it works. And then you rescan. And now you're going to see a much smaller number. You see how this just ends really quickly. But this is showing you the ones that are really, 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 really volume dry up. So NUKK, if you go back to NUKK here, this is like extreme volume dry up, right? Let's do another one that's not, let's do ENSC. Again, just really a lot of volume dry up. So you got the idea. So it's kind of like a bonus scan. Now let's go ahead and just get back things to default. It doesn't matter, but let's just do 45 and then 60. But that doesn't really matter. Now that's for the volume dry up, and that's why you see those columns here. If you want to, now let's transition to scanning for pocket pivots. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to delete all this watch list here, clear up the watch list. And what I'm going to do is, now when you want to scan for pocket pivots, then you come in, this is the 10-day pocket pivot, 5-day pocket pivot. We'll hit on those here in a second. 10-day pocket pivot, you want to choose this as a true, because these are not printed anywhere on the chart. Yes, you see them here, so let's just pull back NVIDIA. Yes, you see them, the green ones are the 10-day pocket pivot, but this is just coloring of the volume, not actually printing the pocket pivot. The indicator is not printing the pocket pivot, it's printing the volume, and then there's a logic in the script that colors the volume. Pine Screener does not go after color changes, so it needs to either a plot or an alert. So what I did with the indicator is I created alerts that will alert you. So that's the new version, will alert when there's a pocket pivot on that stock. And that's why you see here you need to choose true. So if you want to scan for pocket pivot 10 days, you're going to do true, and then you're going to scan. Okay? And now what this is going to do is only going to show you the stocks with the pocket pivot. So there's 72 out of the 948 stocks. Now, the cool thing about having the volume here is you can sort this list by highest volume down to lowest volume, so that you're looking at the highest volume stocks first, liquidity, and then later looking at the lower volume stocks. That's a neat thing of having the volume here. So now what you want to do is you want to just select the first one, scroll all the way down, and then select the last one, shift click, and then right click, add, and then let's add it to the temp weekly scan. Okay, so now you have all of these 72 symbols in your watch list, and then you can just go through them. So now you see every stock that we go through. You are going to see the green volume, which is the pocket pivot. Multiple greens here, green. Let's give us a little bit here. So you got the idea. I mean, this is not a video to explain what pocket pivots are and stuff like that. There's a couple books written about them, but this really helps me visually see accumulation versus distribution when I'm flipping through charts. Really make things a lot easier. Stands out, right? Here's Reddit. What stands out at you, right? All the green, all the blue. So it's really easy to see pocket pivots, to see accumulation, distribution, and stuff like that. Good example here is with NVIDIA. I think I did kind of walk through this at some point. Like if you look at what was the stock doing here when it was going up, it was just green, no selling, and then a little bit of selling on the left-hand side, and then puts the base again, volume dry up, breakout on volume, pocket pivot, and so on and so forth. And then here's where it stalls for a while, and then you see how there's all the red here that you're showing. There's red overwhelming green and blue, right? So that's why the stock spent a lot of time here, because somebody was selling it here, obviously, and then it had to calm down, and it's still now it's volume dry up. There's no red anymore. And then here's a couple pocket pivots that are 5 pocket pivots. We'll get to that here in a minute. But here's VRT. Again, just visually helps me see that stuff. So you got it. This seems to be working. All of these stocks should have a pocket pivot on Friday. Okay, this is this is exactly why I have it. This is nice, right? Okay, let's now switch to the 5-day pocket pivot here. I gotta go a little bit faster. So when you're doing the 5-day pocket pivots, you want to reset your previous scan. So 72 symbols here with 10-day pocket pivot, you reset that one, and then you do true on 5-day pocket pivot, and then you hit scan. That will give you 250 stocks. What you can do is you can just select all of these, get them out of your list if you went through them already, and then I'm just going to choose a few of them here. Right click, add it to your list, and now if you go back, and you'll see NVIDIA at the top because it's highest volume, highest average volume. This is blue 5-day pocket pivot, blue 5-day pocket pivot, so on and so forth. So it seems to be working just fine, and it will grab all of your 5-day pocket pivot. This is interesting. This is not blue. I don't know why, but it probably should be, because this is, found a bug here. I'll take a look at this, but let me see what others here. Seems like everything else is doing okay. I'm not sure why PTO1 is not registering as a 5-day pocket pivot. So I'll take a look at that and then see if I can correct it. But should be minor, should not affect it. I've been kind of using this for a while, and it works just fine. So the last one that we want to do is we're going to reset this. We're going to do highest volume in a year, and then there's highest volume ever. So we'll do highest volume in a year. I'll explain what that is. So let's do a true. It's essentially, so let's do NVDA, back to NVDA. The cyan volume color, so if we look at NVIDIA, I know it had multiple of them when it started its move. So this cyan color right here and then right here is the highest volume in a year for the stock, okay? Highest up volume in a year. It has to be up to register cyan. And then the other one has volume ever, which let's take a look at ALAB. ALAB has this dark brown color. This means the stock had its highest volume ever for that stock. So that's what these two are. Now there's an asterisk on this. I'll touch on that here in a second. But let's do highest volume in at least a year and then see how that looks like. So we'll send that as true, scan it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clear out my pocket pivots, and then I'm going to sort by volume, and then I'm going to select them like I was doing, and then send that over to the weekly watch list. So this is showing also as highest volume in a year, which makes sense because highest volume in a year could be the same, one and the same as highest volume ever. So that is picking it up as well. ATOM is cyan, so highest volume in a year, 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 highest volume in a year. This one matches for both, highest volume in a year, so on and so forth. So you see not a lot, but if you're looking for high volume stuff from your watch list, this can pinpoint those pretty quickly. Let's go back to the highest volume ever and try to explain the limitations. And it's really just limitation. I deleted it. You saw how I deleted it instead of removing it. So I'm going to add it back in. Add that one back in. So highest volume ever. We're going to mark that true, and I'm going to run it. But there's a caveat with this. The Pine Screener only, I believe, only sees look back only at 500 bars and not all the bars for that stock. So if the stock has been trading for 5, 10, 20 years, then it only goes back 500 trading bars. So really it's not, because of that limitation of the screener, this is not highest volume ever. This is highest volume in the last 500 bars. So keep that in mind. Maybe in the future, TradingView will increase that look back period, but right now I believe it's only 500, and we're in January 2025. So you guys would want to continuously try to check on that when you're using it in the future if you're using it. So if I do right click and add that in there, then go back here, all of these should be brown. So there's brown, brown, brown. That's not brown. And brown. I'll have to take a look at this one too. Why is that not brown, but it's coming in the scan? But for the most part, things should really work. And then if you find more of these one-offs that are not working, let me know and I'll take a look at it and try to figure out why. But for the most part, you're going to use it for 10-day pocket pivot for volume dry ups, like I explained, and then you should be just fine. So hopefully that helps. I will publish this as soon as I can today, and you go crazy. But that's kind of not how I trade my setups. I don't really scan for pocket pivots, but I know some of you asked about this, so here it goes. We'll publish that soon. Thank you, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.